Hello guys and welcome to the OverClocking-TV Twitch channel. My name is Tim and I will be your host today along with Truthman right there in the corner. Hey Truth, how's it going?
Hi team, I'm Truthman. I'm here from Montreal and you're there from Taiwan.
Yes, that's true. All right, so this is the Road to MOA show. It's basically a road show that is going to run for 6 episodes. This is the number 1, of course, and we will be basically reviewing everything that is related to the MSI Master Overclocking Arena competition. So what we are going to do for today's show is introduce you to what is MOA and how is the competition going to work this year? How did it work in the previous years? What are the qualifier stages? What to expect from it? And yeah, after that we will have also a short giveaway. So that's gonna be near the end of the show. So stay tuned. And then for the next show we will have a review of the different qualifier phases and also some other giveaways at every shows, and as well explanations on, for example, how to overclock on MSI motherboards and different things like that. So,
so that's gonna be a quite complete show, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty busy. Today's show, I think we expect it to last for 30 to 40 minutes. So I hope you guys, it's not too late for you. So some guys on the stream are from Europe, and thanks guys really for joining us so late at this time. I will be with you next week when I will be on the same time zone than you, so I will feel your pain if there's any pain. All right, so Truth, let's get started quickly. Now that we have introduced the show, maybe we can move on to introducing maybe briefly overclocking. So Truthman, what is overclocking for those on the stream that might not know what it is?
So for the basic, overclocking is to reach higher frequency on your CPU motherboard. That's basically your computer that is going to be running faster. And if you run faster, you actually have more performances out of that. And this is the old setup about here is all about overclocking. The higher you go, the better you go. So yeah, it's always a matter of who have the bigger one in the end, but that's still quite interesting to see what the guys can do. And what is special about the MOA, the Master Overclocking Arena, is that this is the longest running competition ever. And all the overclockers that are competing in these competitions use liquid nitrogen. So they are extreme overclockers and they really push the hardware to the maximum.
Yeah, so overclocking, when you overclock at the level of the MOA competition, for example, the guys are pushing it so much that it heats so much that you need liquid nitrogen to cool it, right?
Yeah, indeed. You need liquid nitrogen to cool down the whatever you're overclocking. That can be your CPU, your GPU, that can be your memory sometimes. So they use liquid nitrogen, and liquid nitrogen is a liquid that is almost minus 200 degrees centigrade. So actually it's very, very, very cold. That's what is used sometimes in the medical research or in some physics labs. But we do actually use it to cool down computers.
Okay, so MOA, the guys, when they do extreme overclocking, I mean, for those of us that might not look for extreme overclocking necessarily, but like everyday overclocking, what is the purpose of extreme overclocking when you can have a normal overclocking being used just to get about 20 to 30 FPS more, or I don't know how much more you could expect from anything like that?
So basically for a regular person, overclocking can be very easy to do. Actually, all the newest hardware have built-in features for overclocking. What that translates into for people that will be watching this stream, like mostly gamers, you're gonna gain few more FPS in the games you're playing. As long as you're playing a game and say, oh, this one is laggy a bit, or this one is, I don't have the best graphics ever, so you can overclock that. You can overclock your computer, you can overclock your CPU, you can overclock your graphic cards, and you can get more performances. And who means more performances means you don't need to buy new hardware, especially, and you actually get more for what you get at the first time.
All right, so you can smooth up your gaming experience, for example, through overclocking, right?
Yeah, indeed. Until some limitation, of course. If you go too high, sure, it's gonna be too hot and it's not gonna be working well. But it's just a matter of a range you can have. For example, all the latest CPUs from Intel can gain a few hundred megahertz just with a few change in the settings. Actually, all the latest Intel CPUs do overclock themselves without doing anything. That's called the turbo mode. And basically the turbo mode is, I can raise the frequency if I want, as long as I don't go above a certain dissipation envelope. So like as long as I don't eat too much, it's fine. I can just go higher.
All right, so that's cool. So that's pretty cool. So the guys at MOA are doing extreme overclocking. So Master Overclocking Arena is the competition by MSI, which basically is trying to find and crown every year the best extreme overclocker on MSI hardware.
So yeah, actually for 7 years the Master Overclocking Arena is running now, and they are trying to find out who is the best overclocker in the world. That's not an easy task. That's not something you can compete between 10 to 15 guys. No, there's a lot of guys competing on that, and there's a lot of guys that can actually ask for the crowd and ask to be the king of overclocking. That's why they call the Master Overclocking Arena.
True, it is a pretty prestigious competition. So what I'm suggesting before we start to go a bit more in depth with MSI and the MOA, maybe Chif, we could switch to the trailer and
sure.
Yeah, have a look at the MSI 2014 trailer.
Let's watch it. Let's go.
Alright guys, welcome back. So that was the MSI 2014 trailer for the MOA. I really like this trailer, Truthman.
Yeah, so it was nice. I like this. This one is like very punchy and a lot of things you can expect from this competition.
Yeah, I saw some hashtag dramatic on the on the chat. All right, yeah. So maybe for those of you that might not know who is MSI, the organizer of that competition, I'm gonna just tell you very quickly who that is. MSI it's a computer manufacturer from Taiwan. What those guys are basically doing is selling motherboards and graphics cards. So they're making them the whole card and then selling them. You probably have heard of MSI through the Fanatic gaming team, and they sponsor all sorts of gaming events around the planet. And they also take care of overclockers and those enthusiast guys that are interested not necessarily in gaming, but that are interested in a pure FPS count and pushing anything they get to touch to the limits. So Tristan, can you tell us maybe more about MOA?
So basically the MOA has been running for 6 years. That's going to be the 7th edition this year for the 2014. We have Timothée here and myself, we had actually the chance to go to pretty much all of the final events. So for us, it's also something like it's part of our history to go on. What is basically the Master Overclocking Arena? It's a worldwide competitions where everyone can join based on online qualifications. And for that you can compete and then arrive to the grand final to be maybe winning some cash prize, maybe some hardware.
Yep.
We'll know that. We will announce that in the next few shows actually, like what's the guy's gonna win and how that's gonna be. We're gonna focus on all the qualification process today.
Okay, right. So you were saying MOA, that's the 7th edition this year, so it means it started back in 2008. I was not there that first edition, but I remember the achievement was you were there and you shot some stuff. So that was the very, very early days of OCTV, I do remember. So back then the MOA was already very much like it was today, to the exceptions that the qualifiers were not online. There was for the very first MOA they did was a qualifications, but selection by countries, and it was more like a Olympic game structure, right?
Yeah, indeed. So in the past there used to be regional qualifiers in the way that each countries like Europe gonna have its own qualifier, APAC Asia gonna have its own qualifiers and stuff like this. In fact that was actually quite interesting to see, but the major drawback was at the first there was only a few people invited to that, and then as the way there's more and more people joining and more people willing to join into that, the cost rises a lot. At the same time, it's not easy to find the best location for every overclockers to join. It's either for the grand final or for the regional qualifier. It's a lot of organization, and actually now that there's a big momentum on HWBot, all the qualification process goes to HWBot. But indeed, as we said, that's the 7th season this year in 2014. Actually, it was interesting that you speak about 2008. That was the first time. I do remember that we made some videos, but we don't actually want to really show them.
They're not that great.
They're not that great at the time. We're actually really starting to do that. Right? But yeah, we do have some videos from 2011.
Yeah, that's true. So from what we need to say here is that MOA 2008 to 2010 pretty much had the same regional qualifier structure, and then from 2010 onwards there was like regional live qualifiers as well, right, Driftman?
Yeah, indeed. That was actually the way it worked in the next few things. What you can see on the video today is right now is the 2011 that was in Europe, I think, and this one was in the US.
This one it was in Las Vegas.
This one was in Vegas, baby.
Well, that was a pretty cool MOA. So that MOA in 2008 had 3 regional qualifiers that were live qualifiers. There was one in Las Vegas, there was one in Istanbul for Europe, and there was another one in Jakarta for the Asia region.
Yeah, so that was the 2011, not 2008. That was the 2011 season, and that was actually the last season that had regional live qualifiers. That was a complete run and complete show overall to get that. That was actually quite interesting. That was in Las Vegas during CES for the US, and Jakarta was nice. A lot of memories from there. So it's actually quite interesting to see.
Yeah. So what we need to say as well is that every MOA had a theme, right? So there was that MOA one from, for example, that we are seeing right now, the one from Vegas. And this whole 2008 MOA was a military theme, right? So it was a campaign for domination begins. That was the slogan back then.
Yeah.
The year after that, it was a Star Wars theme, I think, if I remember right. Oh, that was a year before. And and the 2011 in 12, which was
2012,
which is right now on screen, that was the robot stuff, right?
Yeah. The steel theme. Yeah. So every year there's a theme for that, but what is the theme for this year?
The theme, the theme, that's me.
The theme, yeah, okay, that's my French accent.
So this year's theme actually hasn't been unveiled. It's very similar to the one from last year, No Limits, and I'm pretty sure MSI is going to stick with the No Limits slogans for this year, and I really love that slogan. It very well describes the spirit of the MSI competition and what the guys are trying to achieve in that competition. So yeah, I think that's
the overclocking in general.
There's no need to change it for this year.
Yeah, that's the overclocking in general. Like no limits. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. And and the last from last year, actually, the grand final from last year. So the online qualification went all worldwide. So Asia, Europe, America. There was some extra tickets for the winners in the different countries. So it was actually quite interesting to see what the guys had to do. Over the past 7 years, actually the past 6 years, that's the 7th edition this year. Over the past few years, there was a lot of people. We saw the Romanian guy winning. We saw the Korean guy winning. That's a very mixed crowd that people can get along and find out what they were doing and how they perform. So actually, it's quite interesting to see different countries and different culture represented in this event.
That's right. So maybe let's take a very quick break, and then we can go a bit more in depth about this whole MOA structure, how it worked quickly in the past that we already explained with the regional qualifiers, and then we move on to how it is working this year.
Dividing their forces. It's your call how you want to do this.
At the MSI Master Overclocking Arena, we're looking for the world's best overclocker. The best overclocking motherboard engineered to perfection. Introducing the latest MSI Z97 X-Power motherboard. Z97 X-Power. No limits.
And we are back.
All right. Welcome back, guys. So now let's talk a little bit about the structure of MOA. So like I said in the past, there was regional qualifiers. Most of the time it was offline, so live qualifiers in different regions where qualifiers, where overclockers were gathering there as already pre-qualified overclockers, overclocking teams of 2, and the guys were there to qualify and then winning their tickets to the finals. So this is the legacy structure, and now since 2 years now, there's what we call it a Class A and Class B structure. So that structure is designed for online qualifiers only. It is more economical to do it this way, and it is also very it makes it more accessible to a larger crowd, because as I'm going to explain in a few minutes, the way Class A and Class B works, that it gives the right to a different set of hardware. So if we talk about Class A, for example, Class B, the hardware for entering Class A, it's a much stronger set of hardware. It requires a little bit more investments, and the guys that are going to enter Class A qualify in their own for a region. So you have a Class A America, you have a Class A EMEA, which is the Europe and Middle East. And you have the Class A APSE, which is the Asia region.
So basically, the Class A is for the top guys. That's the one that want to compete with a big hardware and a big setup that they know they can push to the maximum, right?
Yeah, and then Class B, yes, that's for the guys that have a little bit more modest, I would say, modest hardware set, that still want to compete in MOA and have their chance. And so for those guys, there's a few extra seats to the World Finals that are given to qualify for the MOA.
Actually, I have an interesting point about that. There is actually a guy. I will switch the camera on myself just for a second. There's actually a guy right there. This one, Mind-Blowing G, that is actually trying to compete and get qualified for this round, for the Class B. So that's quite interesting that they're using a liquid nitrogen here today at the lab.
Yeah. So
when does each class start and end? Because actually it's not at the same time.
Well, they start not all together at the same time. It works the way that Class A America is the first one to kick off, and at the same time that Class A for America starts, Class B is starting as well. So Class A America is from July 1st to July 31st.
So that's almost over. It's only 4 days left. 5 days left.
Yeah, it's almost over, and next week in the next show, we're going to review that qualifier and let you guys know how it went and what were the scores published, who participated in the US and in America, and yeah, all that stuff. So maybe since we are talking about Class A America, maybe Truth, we should mention that the way Class A America works is that there are 2 seats for the US. There are 1 seat for the West Coast part, west side of the US, and there's one more seat for the east side of the US. And then the 2 other seats are for the rest of the whole American continent, north and south.
Yeah, indeed. That's actually a tricky part when the MSI organized this event, that they had to make sure they wanted to have a limitation that is only 1 overclocker per country per qualification. So,
but there's too many overclockers.
But there's way too many overclockers, so they had to do something about that. What about the MEA? When did that start? Actually, it's actually running now. That's the first weekend. That's the qualification is open.
That's right. So the Europe qualifiers, so Class A EMEA as it's called, started on July the 15th, and that one is also running for a month. So it's going to finish on August 15th as well, and
we will have a show right after the end of this one too.
Yes, so same. The way we planned our show anyway is based on the structures of the qualifiers. So this is every time there will be a show to review the qualifier for Europe. What we have to say is that there are 6 seats allocated for the finals to the worldwide finals. So this gives quite a few chances to the extreme and the top guys in Europe to actually qualify, grab a seat, and
Actually, the European overclockers are quite competitive. There's a lot of countries, there's a lot of community, and they are all trying to push as much as they can. So that's going to be actually one of the most interesting qualifications this year.
That's right.
And APAC start August 1st. So in the next show, that's going to be the launch of the APAC, the Asia Pacific final, the qualification. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. And so APAC again, there's a limited amount of seats, I would say, and this one is 5. So 5 seats for the whole Asian region. That counts for like China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan,
and South Africa.
The whole Southeast Asia, South Africa as well, and Australia I think is included in there as well, right?
That's gonna be interesting to see the Australian trying to compete to get 1 seat for the final, as well as the South African to compete against all the Indonesian. Actually, all these countries are very strong and try to produce some nice scores.
You know, if you just look at MOA last year, for example, if we look at APAC and the lineup that was coming from that region, we had two guys from one guy, Lucky Noob from Indonesia, which is pretty good. We had Vivi from South Africa, which is really good as well. There was the guys from Team AU in Australia, so it was Sniper Oz and JJJC. So those guys are also very good and used to compete in that kind of competition. So I mean, this year is going to be again very tough for that region, and I'm looking really forward to the APAC regional qualifier this year.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so Truthman, maybe before we switch to a different topic, could we have a quick check at what Class A requires in terms of computer hardware to
In terms of hardware, actually, this qualifier do require. So that's actually HWBot. You can see on the screen. That's the official league website. So for gaming leagues, you have special leagues that is actually you can know your ranking and stuff like this. HWBot.org is actually the same league for overclockers. What is actually interesting in this is that you have all the details you need to know to compete in these qualifiers. So as we say, there is Class A and Class B. What we want to focus on right now is the Class A. So what does the guys need in terms of hardware to compete?
So we said Class A is the top, right? So it's it's high-end hardware and the most recent hardwares as well. So we're talking here Z97 chipset.
Indeed. The 97 chipset, you can also use, you have to use only one CPU. That CPU needs to be available on the market. There is something in the overclocking community called as ES, engineering samples. Those are CPUs that you can get before the launch. That's not the CPUs you can get in the store. That's the
so those are not allowed.
Those one are not allowed. There was a lot of issues in past competition before, not especially MOA, but some other competition that had issue with that. So they say, okay, if you cannot buy the hardware in the stores, you cannot use it, and that's it. That's the rules. It's like if it's not available for everyone, you don't get it. You cannot use it. Although you have to use a retail consumer CPU, you cannot use server CPUs to compete on that, because we know that server CPUs require some kind of special mainboard and stuff like this. So that's on the CPU side. You need to use a Z97 MSI motherboard. And on the VGA side, you need to use a R9 series graphic cards. So
that's the latest graphics card series.
Yeah, that's the highest graphic cards you can get on the AMD side.
So if we are talking in terms of price to qualify, a setup such as one like that would cost in the nears of $1,000 US, right?
Yeah, because you need the Z97 mainboard, and as it's gonna you won't use the entry level. You will use the highest one, the X Power or the M Power Max. If you want to use the R9 series, the only chance to get a very high scores and a decent scores is to actually use the Lightning, the R290 Lightning. So
so very, very challenging, right?
It's very challenging on this one, and that's there is some modification that are not allowed. For example, some people try to actually cut part of the VGA and put something else to have like higher power. Zombie modding, we call it that way. So there's a few tricks on that one, but mostly you need a Z97 mainboard from MSI. Most of the guys will have the 4770K or a 4790K, the David Canyon CPUs, or a 4560K if they really have a good one. And they need a R9 280X Lightning to compete in this round. So actually you can see that the hardware is quite high to get into.
Yeah, but I mean, it has to be high, right? It's like I said, it's a prestigious competition. So if it was easy, it would be too easy.
And they have three benchmark. They have three benchmark to run. They have SuperPi 32M, 3D Mark 03, and Unigen Heaven. So SuperPi 32M is based only on the CPU power, while 3D Mark 03 is more kusa, depends on what you're doing, and that was so French. And Unigen Heaven is more on the VGA side. So that's actually gonna be interesting to see all the scores from that, and how America gonna compete against Europe, gonna compete against Asia.
Yeah, usually because the region are kind of like incremental in an incremental way. The last we see the best scores, if there are possible best scores from the last regions, because they get a bit more chances to get inspired from what has been done by others and things like that. So to balance that class A, there's the class B, right, Chofmin? And that class B has a lower entry requirement. So this is something probably a few more people that are not yet totally into MOA and all that stuff, or that haven't upgraded to Z97 can still join, and that gives them three seats to the finals. But it is global, so it means it's not a regional thing, it's the whole world that is competing for those 3 seats.
So indeed, that's you have the complete world that is competing for that. The hardware requirement is lower, so that means there's going to be more competition into that.
Yeah, so we are talking here about Z87 motherboards and Z97.
Yep.
We're talking about Intel, the G3258, which is the Intel anniversary CPU. That is a special anniversary CPU, Devil's Canyon CPU from Intel, and it is unlocked. So
it's not Devil's Canyon. It was launched at the same time, but it's not Devil's Canyon. It's the Pentium Anniversary Edition.
Yep. And a GTX 750 graphics card is allowed.
Yeah, the 750, not the 750 Ti. Most of the guys showed that the 750 Ti was allowed, but actually it's not. Only the 750. Actually, what is interesting about this this qualifier, it runs from July 1st to August 31. So you have 2 months. So you have basically 2 months to do your scores. There is less hardware requirement. There is higher chance for tight and strong competitions and contestants to join in. But at the same time, the requirement for the hardware is much lower. So you can use the, as you say, the 87 mainboard that is actually quite cheap now. You can, or if you already have it, you don't need to buy a new one just to compete in Class A.
That's right.
You need to use the G3258. That CPU is like 75 USD, like 80 USD. It's, come on, most people just buy 10 of them.
Actually,
just keep one.
I haven't seen anyone just buying just one. I think you cannot buy.
No,
just
even
one
myself, I bought 2 last week. So.
Yeah. So all right. So that's pretty cool. And so right now, if you look at HWBot, for example, what we need to explain is there's more people trying to qualify in the Class B, and in the Class A, you can feel the people are a bit more discreet, right? I think there's 11 people right now competing at the Class B qualifier.
There's at least 11 people that did submit scores that do qualify for these competitions, indeed.
But Class A, it's only 3 of them, and you would say, hey, there's only 4 days left, Trifman. What is going on there, right? And what we need to explain is that is because it's inherent online thing about overclocking, right? Nothing pushes you to actually publish your score before. So what the guys are doing, it's technically called sandbagging, but what they do is they keep their scores for themselves. Listen around, try to figure out through the forums and what the other guys got, how high they're running the frequencies, and only really post it at the last minute. So because actually, no one wants to give anyone the extra chance to actually try to push harder than them.
Yeah, it's kind of like Formula One. Like when a racing team managed to get some special tweaking that is not against the rule, that is completely legit, they try to not say it to anyone before the race, actually. And the race prize is the final result.
But in Formula One, you end up realizing that on the day before, right, when they have the first laps for
when they have the trainings.
Right? Yes.
So for us, that's gonna be interesting at the end of this round. That is gonna be happening in the next 5 days, actually, in 5 days.
Yeah. So in terms of rules to qualify, I think it's pretty straightforward. You have to complete all the stages, so all the benchmarks you need to that are required to qualify. You score points in every of them depending of your rank individually on that benchmark, and then the total of the points you've got are done, and that's how you rank in the MOA qualifiers. What do you win is a ticket to the finals.
So we don't know yet where is the final gonna be. We don't know yet the special location, but what we know is if you win one of the seats that is to be awarded to the qualification winners, you're gonna get a free plane ticket, you're gonna get a free trip to the final, the worldwide final. To compete against, I think last year that was like 18 or 20 overclockers, so I think that's gonna be almost the same this year.
Should be the same this year, yeah. It should be 18 as well. Okay, so Trifman, maybe we before we move on to the next part where we are going to show you a little bit quickly what kind of hardware they are going to use for the MOA qualifiers and for probably the MOA finals, depending what is announced before that.
Let's take a break. So I need to get the hardware first, and then we go back for that.
Get your hardware, and we are back in a few minutes.
And welcome back. So right now we're gonna see what is the few hardware that the guy could use. So as we explained, the requirement for the hardware is actually you need to use MSI hardware, of course, that is MSI organizing these competitions. You need to use MSI motherboard. That can be like this one. Actually, this one is the V97X Power motherboard. So that's the latest one. That's the flagship mainboard. That's the best mainboard they have, actually. That's the biggest one. So
it's a mainboard for overclockers, right?
Now this one is especially designed for overclockers. They have the OC series. So that's the black and yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow, and they use the black and yellow theme for overclocking only. So they have the M Power, M Power Max, X Power, and so on.
And even the graphics cards.
And even the graphics card have the same theme.
Is using.
Actually, I have one here.
Actually, yeah, MSI did it very cleverly. The way they organized the colors. So you have yellow and black, which is for OC gear. You have red and black, which is gaming, and you have blue and black, which is entry level hardware.
Yeah. So that's actually that's actually quite interesting that they can fit the complete series to the right hardware in the end. So I show you the mainboard right here. That's the D97 X Power mainboard. That is the LGA 1150. That one is used to use your CPU, the latest Devil's Canyon from Intel, as well as any CPUs in the LGA 1150 socket. With this one, you have 4 slots of RAMs. You have a few settings. Actually, I can show you something that is actually designed especially for overclockers. It's this right here. If you can see it on the live.
Those are like buttons, right?
Yeah, you have a button to control the mainboard. You can use the multiplier on the CPU. That's a part of the system that allow you to reach higher frequencies. Right here you have reading points. So actually we do rely on external multimeter to check the voltage and the power that is actually used on the mainboard and the hardware. So that can be on the memory, that can be on the CPU, that can be on anything that is related to the mainboard. And there's although a few switch right there. And this one are especially made for overclockers. You can deactivate something. You have a special switch when you use liquid nitrogen. That's people call that the LN2 mode. So when you trigger that switch, there's actually no safety thing. You just turn on all the safety so you can go higher and as much as you want. So this one is the Z97 X Power AC because there's AC Wi-Fi chip on it.
Yep. Okay, and so what about the graphics card that you have?
So that graphic card is actually not the one people can use for the qualifiers because they need to use the R9 290 or 280 lightnings, or they use the 750. But actually, this one is the 780 Lightning. So that's based on the 780 from the GTX GeForce 780 from NVIDIA. That's the same GPU, but actually the complete design of the PCB of the card is made in-house by MSI. This card is also made especially for overclockers. This one consumes a lot of power, but that can go very high in performances. So most of the guys really like this one. Actually, this one is available on the market. It's not something only overclockers can buy. You can buy that in the shop if you want. It's gonna be quite pricey, but that's gonna be very performing. There's also one thing that we can see that is actually designed especially for overclockers. You have the reading points right there, once again. That's actually what we can check if we have the right voltage for the memory, the right voltage for the GPU, the right voltage for different kind of things on it. And I was talking about the LN2 mode on the mainboard. This is actually something you can have here. That's the LN2 BIOS here, right there. So you can switch from one side to another if you use it just for gaming or just for your computer, or if you use it in extreme setup, so with liquid nitrogen and everything. All this setup, actually I do suspect a lot, depending on when is the final that they're gonna use this one for the competition, the final. I do suspect they use either this one, because for all the previous MOA they use NVIDIA in the final, so I do suspect they use this one, or if the 880, if that is the name, the GTX 880, if that is the name, because we don't know, is out and they have a Lightning one, maybe that's gonna be the new one, but I do strongly think they're gonna use this one. So that's actually, I'm sure they will be using this mainboard, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna use these graphic cards.
So you've been lucky to if you got it all before.
Yeah, that's my secret things. But I don't compete.
Are you going to try to qualify?
No, I don't. That's the thing. You and me, we have been around this industry for so long. We know all the guys around, and the thing is, in the end, it's like, yeah, we don't want to compete because we know that the other guys have a level just much higher than us. But in the end, it's always fun.
Not even just that. I actually love going to the competitions every year. So if I was to qualify and not qualify, I would be like very sad. So I'd rather live stream and see the guys compete, and yeah. I'm cheering for everyone. That's my job.
That's the spirit. Along the hardware we saw today, we also to mention that MSI is doing mainboard, graphic cards. They're also doing laptops. They're doing a lot of things, but they don't do memories. They don't do PSUs. They don't do stuff like this. So for the competition, they will rely on some other automotive vendors. I'm pretty sure that Cooler Master will be the main partner. They're going to be providing a lot of PSUs. I do suspect they use the V1200. We will have confirmation of that in the next few weeks when they're going to validate.
That's the top end PSU from Cooler Master, right?
Yeah, actually I have one right there.
Yeah. And there's a HyperX that is going to provide some of the gear, G-Skill as well. So G-Skill is probably for sure going to provide a memory.
No, that's sure, because that's the best. They have the best memory so far lately, and Hyper is gonna provide the SSD, I think, because if G-Skill is providing the memory, they're providing that. I think Cooler Master gonna be also providing the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
Even if we don't really use them as gamers, but we do use them for.
Hey, it's always nice to have a good keyboard.
Indeed.
And a good mice that works. That's always a good thing. All right, Triffman. So thanks for the hardware introduction. That was very cool. What we need to mention before we switch to the next part is that in next week's show we're going to have a quick BIOS walkthrough on that MSI board. So we're gonna be able to show you live what are the settings in the BIOS that you guys can tweak, and maybe why not, if we have the time, we could do like a 4G overclocking session.
Actually, that would be cool.
How to actually get to 4 gigahertz very easily, no hassle, no problem.
Actually, that would be cool, because I have 50 liters of liquid nitrogen here today in the lab, but so I might have some next week still. So that could be quite interesting to.
Well, for 4 gigahertz, you don't even need it.
No, 4 gigahertz is gonna be in here. Like everyone can do it, easy one.
Yeah. So I think we should do it. Yeah, in a way that everyone can do it at home. That's even more fun.
So guys, we're gonna take a little break. We come back with our quick expectation on who's gonna win the America final, because that's gonna almost end, and then we're gonna have our special giveaway. And stay tuned, that stuff is great. And welcome
guys. Welcome back. Sorry, welcome guys. All right. So now let's have a quick words about the AM qualifiers, the ones that are running right now and finishing in a few days from now, 4 days, if I'm correct. So
actually, that's 4 days for you, but that's 5 days for me. So that's 5 days for US too.
So you US guys still have 5 days left to qualify. Right now, Mike CDM, Gunslinger, and Red Max are the only ones that have submitted, but don't be fooled. There are people in South America, there are people in Canada as well, and there are a lot of guys in the US that are for sure going to try their chances. What I'm inspired by when I see this ranking so far, that Mike CDM already competed in MOA last year.
No, that was not last year. That was, I think, 2 years ago. That was the. I think that was.
Who came from the US last year then?
Good question. I can't remember. You know, I have a very bad memory.
I'm pretty sure it's probably Mike CDM. Anyway.
Well, the thing is, there's only 3 scores. There's 4 tickets. There's only 1 person per country that can go, except for the US, where there is 1 from the East, 1 from the West that can go. But right now we only have 3 scores. That actually means that Red Max cannot get qualified for that. I actually know Red Max. I talked to him yesterday, and he told me my qualification run is over. he actually had some limitation on his overclocking. So he says, no, I can't do more than that. It's like, well, you know, that's a game. You don't know what to expect. And actually, for now, it's MaxiDM and Gunslinger. Maybe there's gonna be Splay. Maybe there's gonna be some other overclockers that are keeping some scores, and they will publish them just 1 hour before the end.
Yeah. So for example, in terms of America, the whole continent in general, who else could we expect, Chufman? We could expect, for example, Arbuas, maybe from South America, that would try. I'm pretty sure he's going to try again this year because he qualified last year and the years before.
Of course he's gonna try, and I'm pretty sure he's almost ready to get qualified. There's, as you say, there's some guys from Brazil. There's some guys from Argentina. I think Natural Rio gonna try to compete. I'm not sure he prepared for that. I didn't have time to talk with him. But there's Kniadol maybe. There's Rumbas. I'm pretty sure about that. It just depends on how many graphic cards he can have to bench them. There's gonna be what can we expect from Latin America? That's actually the 2 guys that I do expect to win something. At least one of the tickets for that. And from Canada, I actually have no idea. I live in Canada right now. We are in Montreal here. The guy behind me, right up the other side, right there, is trying to qualify, but in Class B, not in Class A. So that's he's trying to compete with all the other guys worldwide. Yep.
So well, it's going to be interesting next days, I guess.
So I do say Splay for the US. Let's say that MaxiDM still have a chance. If he,
I would say Arbuas for South America.
Arbuas for Brazil, because actually it's per country, it's not per South America. Yeah, I do suspect Natural Rio to post something, but I'm not sure. And for the rest, well, I do expect that we have some interesting surprise next week for the next show.
Okay, well that is perfect suspense to switch to the next topic, which is going to be our giveaway.
So our giveaway. Let's make another turn with the jingle and go right back in the giveaway. So stay tuned. There is something we say in this event, in this live, that's gonna help you.
Let the games begin.
Get already. Let's move. We are. We're not leaving.
Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back. So the clip you just see is actually related to what is the giveaway for this show. So for this show we're giving away an MSI Gaming 7 motherboard. I think Truthman, you should have a slide for that.
That's
so yes,
it.
that's the board for this show. It is actually fairly easy to compete and to enter the contest. What you have to do is to connect to our Facebook page. So facebook.com/OverClocking-TV, no dashes, no capital letters or whatsoever. You go there and there's a tab on the left sidebar, which says Road to MOA #1, and that is the giveaway for this week.
So if you go on the page,
Truthman, you can actually show us.
That's it. You go on the page, and we will have a few posts about that in the next few days. That giveaway gonna stay up for a few days. Don't wait to get in. If you miss, there's gonna be one question, right, Timothée?
Yeah, there's a question, of course. We're not giving away stuff for the sake of giving away stuff, right? There's a quick question you guys need to answer, and there is the actual answer in this show. We've given the answer actually
quite a few times.
I think quite a few times, yes. I counted about 6 times. So I think if you haven't been attentive, now is the time to be again. We will be posting the replay of this show in a few minutes on our YouTube channel, so you can rewatch it again if you have missed the cue. So to enter the contest, just fill in your names, contact details such as your email, so we can contact you if you win. Fill in the actual correct answer to the question. Truthman, don't type it on the screen.
Yeah, no, I should not type it on the screen, right?
and actually, you cannot enter, right? You know the answer.
Yeah, I know the answer. I've been saying the answer. I've been doing that quite a few times. So as Timothée says, if you're not sure, you can watch the replay of these emissions to actually know what is the answer to these questions.
Yeah, all right. And so all right. Sorry for the mic cut. We're back. Sure.
So we were saying that you have the chance to win an MSI Gaming 7 mainboard. So head out to the Facebook page, to facebook.com/OverClocking-TV. Click on the Road to MOA 1 tab, and then you can fill the form to answer the question. The question is, what is
this year's MOA edition in terms of editions? I'm not going to say anything more. I mean, we try to make it pretty obvious.
That's quite obvious.
Don't worry, guys. If you don't know the answer to the question, the replay will be on the YouTube channel in a few minutes. So yeah, just stay tuned. Follow us. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and on Twitch as well. We would highly appreciate that, and like that, you will probably be in touch with us for the next things.
Next show. And actually, when is the next show, Timothée?
Right. So next show is next weekend. It's going to be on Sunday evening US time. So I think it's going to be. It is exactly at 9:30 Eastern time. So
that's going to be exactly the same time as tonight, but on Sunday.
Exactly, and for the European guys, that's gonna be 3:30 a.m. again. I'm sorry.
You will actually have
American
that
qualifiers, so that's why we chose that time. And for Taiwan, that's 9:30 a.m. So GMT +8. Yeah. So next show is going to be about the Class A America result announcements. Who is going to go from America to the MOA finals? We're gonna follow up with the Class B rankings and also discuss a little bit more who has entered the EMEA qualifiers, for example.
And we're gonna try to have a setup running with maybe a 4 GHz CPU on it.
Yep, that's it. I think it's gonna be great. So guys, if you have any questions regarding MOA, overclocking, or anything like that, please join us on the chat on stream like right now, and we are gonna stay here a little bit to answer your questions. Thanks a lot for watching and being attentive to the show and having fun with us tonight. We hopefully will see you all next week, and till there, don't forget, keep pushing it.